Border crossings are at their lowest level ever recorded. Is the border,
is that good?
Is the border now secure?
Yeah, it's really secure.
It's absolutely
isn't that good?
secure.
When you say that, doesn't that just sound good? After being abused for years by an incompetent president that allowed people to pour through an open border, criminals from all over the world, murderers and insane people from mental institutions and insane asylums. Isn't it a beautiful thing when you say it's the most secure it's ever been in the history of our country? Isn't that a nice statement?
That's President Trump catching NBC host and crazy-eyed woman Kristen Welker red-handed after she tried to spin reducing illegal immigration into some kind of national problem. Because only in establishment media do you get framed as extreme for enforcing the law. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and if you ever needed a masterclass in how biased, condescending, and completely out of touch legacy media has become, Kristen Welker just gave it. In her sit-down with President Trump on Meet the Press, she didn't just ask questions, she basically issued indictments. But as usual, Trump easily dismantled her smug liberal femsplaining and exposed the broken narrative behind everything from immigration policy to China tariffs. Here's President Trump calling her out directly for trying to make mass illegal immigration sound like something we should all tolerate.
The border now is not the emergency. The border is it's all part of the same thing, though. The big emergency right now is that we have thousands of people that we want to take out, and we have some judges that want everybody to go to
Some
court.
of them you appointed, sir, including three on the Supreme Court.
They change. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how that happens, but they do change.
Just to button this up, though, are you planning to lift that emergency order anytime soon, now that the border's secure?
We have an emergency. We have a massive emergency. Overall, it's an overall emergency on immigration, and if the courts don't allow us to take people out, if we had to have a court case, think of it, every single person, we have millions of people. We're going to have millions of court cases. Figure 2 weeks of court case, it would be 300 years.
What do you say to those who believe you are taking the country down an authoritarian path?
Well, there you go again. Why don't you ask it a different way? Many people wanted to come into our country. Many people love Trump. I won the election. They didn't win the election. So when you make these statements about people say this, well, you know, they had their chance at the election and they lost big. So you should ask the question differently. You should say, what about the people that want to be in this country? What about the people that love this country?
But what do you say? I'm asking it on behalf of those people to give you a chance to respond to them. What do you say to those people, sir?
Those people are going to be very happy. They're going to have to see some results. And I think we had a great 100 days. There are a lot of people that say it was unprecedented. It was an absolutely unprecedented 100 days.
You know, watching this clip, you think Welker actually believes border security is a goal you can finish and check off like a grocery list. I mean, Trump rightly called immigration an emergency and explained what any adult understands, that securing the border is a full-time job. Welker tried to trap him with loaded questions about due process, family separations, and so-called authoritarian behavior, but like always, Trump didn't budge. He just hit back with plain logic. We can't have millions of trials clogging our courts, and we certainly can't keep murderers and drug dealers in the country just to appease activist judges. And despite what the media is trying to claim, this wasn't Trump ignoring the Constitution, it was him highlighting the real-world absurdity of pretending illegal immigrants get endless legal protections while Americans suffer the consequences. And once again, the political hacks and establishment media look less like journalists and more like mouthpieces for the DNC. Here's Welker desperately trying to pivot to something else the media constantly lies about, the economy, only to once again get completely destroyed by Trump.
Small businesses say they are being hurt by the Chinese tariffs, and some could be forced to shut down.
And many businesses are being helped.
Are you considering tariff relief for small businesses?
Why do you always mention that, you know, you pick up a couple of little businesses? What about the car business? They're going to make a fortune because of the tariffs. Do you know that the union, the head of the union, who was no fan of mine, Sean Fain, I guess his name is, right? He didn't endorse me. The Teamsters did. A lot of people did. A lot of unions did. But he didn't. He couldn't stand me. Now he's saying, wow, what Trump's done for the automobile, I can't believe it. I assume he's going to probably now say the next thing he can say is, I endorse this guy. He's the greatest I've ever seen. He can't believe it's happened. He said, we've been waiting 40 years for somebody to do what Trump is doing. So why don't you mention the big car industry instead of mentioning somebody that's doing strollers?
You've been arguing all week that this is President Biden's economy. Is this now your economy, sir?
Well, I think certain aspects of it are. Costs are. I was able to get down the costs, but even that, it takes a while to get them down, but we got them down good. And we were very tough with China, as you know. We put 145% tariff on. Nobody's ever heard of such a thing. And we've essentially cut off trade relationships by putting that much of a tariff on. And that's okay. We've gone cold turkey. That means that we're not losing. You know, we lost $1 trillion to China. $1 trillion. That means we're not losing $1 trillion when we go cold turkey, because we're not doing business with them right now. And they want to make a deal. They want to make a deal very badly. We'll see how that all turns out, but it's got to be a fair deal.
You know, it's a little hilarious to try to watch her paint these tariffs as some sort of existential threat to small business, while conveniently forgetting that China and the Democrat Party have done more to hurt small business than Trump ever has. And as the president laid out, the tariffs aren't a tax, they're a tool. And they've been critical in fighting off China's economic warfare. I mean, let's not forget that Chinese companies routinely flood the US with subsidized junk, steal American intellectual property, undercut small retailers, and hollow out manufacturing towns. On top of that, their role in the fentanyl pipeline is destroying communities across the country. Trump's tariffs level the playing field and protect American industries. But of course you wouldn't hear that from NBC or Welker, who suddenly want to pretend that Democrats are champions of small business after they let China, big box corporations, and the lockdowns run them into the ground. But let me know what you think. Is it even worth President Trump going on biased news shows like this anymore? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching.